Sunday morning, normal training session. But this one's my last one of this year. It's the 9th of January. In 2 days' time, I'm going into hospital for a major operation, DBS, Deep Brain Stimulation. Am I worried about it? Yeah, I am, yeah. It's taken me about a year before it's really happened. A year ago it was mentioned, lots of tests have happened, lots of MRI scans and DAT scans and psychology tests and using all bits and pieces. And about a month ago I went for my pre-op, everything was hunky-dory, and it's happening in 2 days' time. Did I expect it to happen so quick? No, not really. But yeah, I'm excited as well as not to tell the word. So Mark and I decided that we're going to make a film about how we're going to get on, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and we're planning another trip in November. This trip is going to be a big one, but before that we've got to get over this operation.
But it's kind of, for me at least, this isn't about me in any way whatsoever, but it's suddenly there. And in a strange way I've been waiting for this moment, for you about to go into hospital and to have this incredible operation that could well change your life in many ways.
Yeah, for good or bad.
No, for good. As you've said this week, in the last week, there ain't a bad side to this because it's not going to go wrong.
Oh no.
And it's going to be a real major step.
We hope so. I've heard nothing but good news about it so far.
How many people have you spoken to who have actually had the operation?
One.
And who is he or she?
She. In 2012 she contacted me because she wanted to climb Kilimanjaro, and she contacted Parkinson's and they said, is there anybody that can speak to me about going up Kilimanjaro? I've got Parkinson's myself. So Parkinson's, we've got just the fella for you who's got Parkinson's himself, and she lived in Surbiton. And we met and we spoke about it, and I advised her not to go because her Parkinson's was a little bit too,
advanced.
Yeah.
How old was she then?
Oh crikey, I reckon she must have been in her 30s.
Oh, young.
Oh crikey, yeah. And we'd just been chatting occasionally, and then a couple of years ago she said that she'd been put forward for DBS. Anyway, so she finally had it on the 6th of October this year.
Right.
And
2 months ago.
2 months ago. And she was one of those poor girls, poor sufferers, that couldn't smile. She had no facial expression.
No. And that's a symptom of a certain style of Parkinson's.
Yeah, one of the big symptoms. A lot of people suffer with that. Right. Like me.
You were born that way, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, so and then she put on, she had the operation, and maybe about 2 or 3 weeks later she put another profile picture, her on Facebook. This is my 2018 smile. I'll tell you what, it's from ear to ear. And I was reading all the hits that she got from it. First time she's able to smile for 10 years.
And she came home how quickly from having the operation?
Oh no, they don't keep you in. They don't keep you in. You're out as soon as you can.
Okay.
The surgeon I was speaking to said, all depends how you go with this. How depends how quickly you heal. He said we might even have it all turned on before Christmas.
So today is Sunday the 9th of December.
Yep.
And you're having the operation on Tuesday in 2 days' time at St George's.
Yep.
And where did she have the operation?
St George's.
So St George's is the known place for this.
No, there's another hospital in London that does it as well. I can't remember where it was.
So this is a form of deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's.
Yep.
But there's other forms of deep brain stimulation for other situations that need to be.
Oh no,
helped.
when Parkinson's is only one problem. With Parkinson's, it's dopamine,
Right.
and that produces other problems. You know, there's lots of other problems connected with Parkinson's that a lot of people don't see. All you see is the outside, but inside, you know, there's a lot of pain, a lot of weakness, and a lot of movement. You know, only people can't see that part of it. People only see a tremor or a slow movement, but there's a lot more to Parkinson's than just sort of shakes and sort of.
But the reason for the deep brain stimulation is to assist in the making of the dopamine within the body,
Yes.
and that is it.
Basically,
That's all it's going to.
Yeah, because that's all my medication does. I take my medication 4 times a day. So basically, I'm getting sort of 4 hits a day producing dopamine. You know, so basically, what will happen is, once I have this surgery, the wires basically will into my brain, and the battery pack is in the chest, and what that basically does sends shockwaves up to the brain to stimulate it, and because that's what the drugs do, stimulate the brain, and that produces more dopamine. So I will be getting that on a regular basis, or instead of 4 times a day.
24/7.
24/7.
And so the brain stimulation helps the body create the dopamine. As and when the dopamine is starting to run out, the body is told to create some more.
No, it doesn't run out. You and I burn off just as much dopamine each day. You burn it off, I burn it off. But what happens is, mine doesn't come back as quick as yours grows back. It's like nerves, you know, you burn off thousands of cells, just as many thousands of cells grow back again. They reproduce all the time. But when you've got Parkinson's, it doesn't produce quick enough. So basically what I'm doing over the years, because I'm not producing as many as, I'm losing a lot. Because, you know, so that's why the symptoms of Parkinson's gradually gets worse and worse and worse.
So is the loss of the reproduction of dopamine due to Parkinson's, or is Parkinson's due to the loss of reproduction of dopamine? In other words, which leads which? Is it your body started to
No, it's the lack of dopamine.
That is the leader.
Yeah.
So your body 10, 11 years ago said, I'm no longer going to produce dopamine, which led to the Parkinson's.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Right. Okay. So by virtue of having the
because I was told by some professors that don't know why you get Parkinson's. You don't know how you get it, why you get it, don't know how to treat it properly, no cure for it. They still don't know. You know, 50 years down the line, they still haven't produced another drug. There's still Siminet is still the same drug for dopamine.
Yeah.
They haven't produced another one that does any better.
Okay.
Yeah, well, basically to be able to produce the dopamine, you have to send electric currents. Yeah, and that's why they put the wires in your brain, a particular part in your brain, and then what they do is that under the skin they feed it behind the ear, down the neck. It's all under the skin and connected to this battery pack. You know, very similar to a pacemaker, where it will just it can be set to whatever. When I first have it installed, they tell me. The first week it's going to feel like I have never had Parkinson's before in my life. They say you're going to be absolutely incredible with it.
Yeah.
but then my symptoms will gradually start coming back again.
Yeah.
That's when I have to keep going back to the hospital and having more tests done, and they can reprogram it. Well, there's been two types of battery pack. That's all it basically is. The old style battery pack is basically inserted in the chest. The battery lasts for 10 years. 10 years time, out, new one in. But the new type is that they're giving me is that I have to power it up myself. So once a fortnight, once 10 days, whatever, I don't know yet, I have to sit down and stick my finger in the light bulb and power it up myself. And that lasts for 25 years.
All right, so graphically, how do you actually power it up? I mean, what are you
What I presume, I haven't been told yet, is that because it's under the skin, obviously you can't plug it in anywhere.
No.
It's basically like when I power up my watch. Underneath there is the light. I get a battery pack with the power system and put it on there, and my watch sits on it and powers it up.
Right.
I presume I just sit there with something
Yes.
connected onto my chest.
How brilliant.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing at that anyway. So.
So when this is all done and they've tweaked it to the right balance of stimulation, all you've got to do is once every period is to recharge the battery.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's
and
it.
your level of dopamine that you're taking by virtue of tablets and injections will change.
Hopefully.
To the point whereby it could be half of what you're taking at the moment, or
it could
a
be
quarter.
completely cancelled it out.
Could be completely out.
Completely.
How long has this operation been in existence? Do you know?
Well, it's big in America. They've done a lot of it in America. Over here, I think I heard about 5 years it's been over here.
Do you know how many people have had it?
No. But it's the new way forward.
Amazing.
You know, the thing about it is I don't want to ask too many questions. I want to take it as it comes.
That's fine.
You know, people keep saying to me, well, what about this? What about that? I said, I don't know.
No.
You know, I'm not one for asking questions and make things even worse. Because you've asked questions and you don't come up with the right answer, you're going to be worried about it. You know, but no, I just take it as it comes. You know, they obviously know what they're doing. Because when I went to see the surgeon, you know, after him explaining, and the professor was there, after them explaining me what's going to happen, the do's and the don'ts and the cans and the can'ts, he basically said to me, is there any questions? I said, no. And he was quite surprised. He said, well, why not? I said, because I don't ask questions. You know what you're doing. I've got my faith in you. Why confuse matters? If I ask you a question and you give me an answer that I don't want to hear, I'm going to get worried about it. He said, good attitude. I said, why confuse matters? But the next thing we're discussing on the morning of the operation is whether or not I'm going to be awake while they do it.
Now that's interesting. There's an option. They would prefer you to be awake.
Well, basically what he said to me was, because as soon as he told me that I could have DBS, you know, first thing you do, YouTube, and, you know, they showed you a complete operation with the guy awake. So when I went to see the surgeon, I said to him, oh, will I be awake? He said, well, put it this way. He says, I've done both operations. I've done it awake and asleep. He says, and basically the overall completion of it is about the same. I said, yeah, but the anaesthetic, you know, the general anaesthetic, you don't really want to have that. He said, well, you know, what we'll do is that we'll see you on Tuesday and we'll discuss it. He said, what would you like? I said, well, I'd like to be awake, obviously. He said, why? I said, so I can keep an eye on you. He laughed, obviously. But no, I'm hoping that I'm going to be okay to stay awake. I find it very interesting.
Well, I can't get my head around that one. I really find that difficult. And it is then just a case of mind over matter, isn't it?
Exactly. You know, what I expect, Mark, you know, like when the surgeon said to me, he says, what are you expecting from this? I said, look, what I'm expecting and what I want is going to be two completely different things. I says, obviously, what I want is my Parkinson's to go away. I says, but I know that's not going to happen. So the next best thing to it is to reduce my symptoms. And hopefully, having this operation is going to do the same. Yeah, we all want something better than we expect. You know?
On the other hand, you may just be more pragmatic than that and say, what will be, will be.
Exactly.
I've lived with what I've got over the last 10 or 11 years.
14 years.
Is it 14 years now?
Yeah.
And anything's going to be better than where I am at the moment.
Well, that's just what I said to him. It's got to be better than what I am. But then, you know, and then they put the block on it, and then they give you the what can happen, the worst case scenarios, you know, and then they give you the percentages. I can't remember the actual percentages of what they said, but you know, the two worst case scenarios is the worst case scenario is obviously death. Something could happen. You know, you just don't know. You know, there's always that in the back of your mind. He said that's the worst case scenario. You know, he said, but very rare. He says, you know, anybody could have a reaction to anaesthetic.
Yeah.
This is why you have your pre-op, because the pre-op they test your cardiac machines and MRSA and, you know, blood pressures and you know. And then he said to me, well, the second worst case scenario is that you could have bleeding on the brain, because we're going into the brain. He says, and that could cause epilepsy. But that, again, he said, is extremely rare. You know, 1 in 50,000 or something. So my first question to him was, how many has he done? But no, it's the luck of the draw, mate.
Right.
You know, the way I think about that now is because I was put in my place about a year or no, nearly 2 years ago now, when I had surgery done on my eyes. I had lens replacement surgery, and the surgeon. I was talking with the surgeon. He was asking me what I was expecting from it, and he said, "Look, I can guarantee 100% taking out your old lenses. I can guarantee I can do that, no problem whatsoever." He says, "and I can guarantee you, for the second guarantee, putting in some nice brand spanking new lenses. I can guarantee you 100% I can put them in perfectly." He said, "but what I can't guarantee is how that you're going to react to them."
Okay.
And that hit home, really.
Yeah.
You think, well, that's got to be for everything, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the X factor.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the way I look at it now, you know. If they can do their job, great. Then it's up to me. The rest is up to me. You know, it's up to this ear, you know.
Well, assuming that it is successful,
Yep.
and realistically it improves your living with Parkinson's by whatever percentage that might be, if we measure it that way, what do you hope to achieve afterwards that you can't achieve now?
Well, you know, God, touch wood, you know, I'm not suffering tremendously with it now. You know, I can do virtually everything I want to do, but it's just getting harder to do. Yeah.
In a physical sense?
Physical sense.
Yeah.
I've been told by my surgeon that it will get rid of my tremor. have difficulties sometimes while I'm cycling. My legs just give way on me. I just have no strength in my legs whatsoever. So before I fall off my bike, I have to get off and sort of rest up a little bit.
Is that becoming more of an occurrence?
Yeah.
So
I'm losing my balance quite a lot now as well.
Okay.
You know, fatigue is quite a lot there.
Measure that in the sense of, does fatigue normally start up after 25 miles, or is it not?
No, what I
measured that
mean,
way?
not while I'm cycling. I get no fatigue at all while I'm cycling.
Okay.
There's the fatigue is during the day. You know, I wake up tired at night, in the mornings. You know, I go to bed, have a good night's sleep, but wake up tired. I'm always tired. I could fall asleep standing up. You know, it's just one of those things. When I get to one of my clients early, I sit there in the van, sort of get my phone out, start texting, and fall asleep. You know, that's how bad. So they said hopefully that might give me a better quality of sleep. As I said to you before, is what you can see is just the outside. With Parkinson's, it happens on the inside. You know, there's a lot of pain everywhere. You know, but I'm very lucky. I don't show it a lot. I just keep it to myself. One, because I don't want anybody to fuss. You know, especially Catherine. You know, I just don't want to put any burden on her whatsoever. I'm just going to fight it until the best I possibly can. And by having this operation, hopefully, that will do it for me. The surgeon definitely said, you'll get rid of my tremors, without a doubt. It's not going to cure me. It's not a cure. It's not going to completely cure me whatsoever. I'll still have Parkinson's. But my symptoms will be reduced dramatically, and it can be tweaked up whenever. Whenever I'm starting to feel that it's getting worse, I just go back and they turn it up and produces more. So, what they told me is that it'll help me with my cycling, without a doubt, because it will give me more stability. It's not as if I'm wobbling all over the place. I'm not, don't get me wrong, but it'll help me with my legs, because I've noticed, well, in my tests I had that, you know, my walking's not tremendous anymore. One of the symptoms of Parkinson's is you drag your legs, you know. I didn't even know about that, you know. I didn't even realise it was happening to me until sort of I had these tests. And I didn't realise how unstable I was on my legs. You know, one of the tests when I had my my psychology test and Parkinson's test is my nurse got behind me. I had to stand up nice and still, and she said, all I'm going to do is just tap your shoulders to push you back. See if you can stop me from doing it. Well, she wasn't going to tell me when. She just stood behind me and just literally got her fingers, just went on my shoulders. I fell over. Nothing whatsoever. That's because I didn't have any medication in me. Because the night before I wasn't allowed to have any medication, and the morning of the test I wasn't allowed. So they wanted me there. And then they gave me a booster. Gave me my tablets. Then an hour later I had to do the same test. She was pulling me as hard as she could, and she couldn't move me. So there's
a dramatic difference.
Oh, without a doubt. And it's little things like that you lot don't see, you know, and just out of the blue I'll lose my balance. Without a doubt. I get a lot of pain in my arm because I try and stop my tremors. Because I don't like them, they're embarrassing. So I try and stop my tremors and it makes my hand hurt. You know, simple things like that, you know. And the more you have, the longer you have Parkinson's, you know, the more symptoms occur. There's so many different types, Mark. So many different types. I'm just hoping, touch wood, I don't get Parkinson's dementia. And Parkinson's dementia is it's dreadful. You know, I work with a lot of people with Parkinson's, and I've seen them over the years gradually go down that slippery road because they're not keeping up with what they're supposed to do. Plus the dementia is sort of gradually kicking in. None of them have had DBS or anything like that, you know. And yeah, I've seen it. I've seen people bedridden, I've seen them in wheelchairs, all with Parkinson's. And they die of a sickness related to Parkinson's, not of Parkinson's.
It's nasty stuff.
Yeah, it is. People really don't understand about Parkinson's. It's a lot more dreadful than you think. A lot more. So this is why I like to sort of do all I'm doing for charity, to raise as much money, do all these lovely cycle trips of mine, you know, and jump out of aeroplanes and climb Kilimanjaro and, you know, try and do as much as I possibly can, because Parkinson's isn't government funded. It's all sort of because of people like myself who go out there and raise money as much as we can to help Parkinson's sort of with research and so on and so forth.
You started raising money for Parkinson's UK 9 years ago?
2011. The first time I climbed up Kilimanjaro.
So that's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've raised to date over 100,000?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're still going, still doing it?
I have no intentions of stopping.
When do you expect to be allowed to get back on your saddle and push yourself?
Well, what I said to my surgeon is when I actually, going back to when I said I don't ask questions,
Yeah,
the only one question I did ask him is when will I be able to get back on my bike and do stupid challenges again? And he sort of looked at me because he was a cyclist himself. You know, he was quite surprised of how much cycling I do a week and so on and so forth. And he said to me, a couple of weeks. Basically, what I'm going to do, Mark, is that I have no intentions of stopping cycling. Cycling is my life. If I didn't have cycling to do, I'd just sort of shrivel up in the corner, I think, you know. I'll take it nice and steady at first. You know, maybe cycle round the block, or I'll put it this way, I've got a stationary bike at home, I can use that. And I gradually build up my fitness again, because it's going to be about 5 or 6 weeks before I'm going to start cycling again. And then once I feel fine for it, I'll gradually build myself up. I'm not going to be silly and sort of just go straight into it.
The operations you're going to have are not relating to your muscles or your bones or your physical side so much. It's more to do with your mental side, isn't it? Yeah. So apart from the insertion of the wires that are going to go from the brain to the chest, and that causes whatever it causes internally, there isn't much else that can affect you, is there? Really, in the sense of this surgery? You're not going to be tearing anything, you're not going to be putting your body under any form of stress.
No.
That can be disruptive to the surgery.
No.
So
these are the sort of questions I'm going to ask after the surgery. I think
you'll also know yourself, won't you?
Of course, yeah.
So you'll get on your bike in your gym, and you will know fairly quickly how far you can push yourself.
Of course, and you know, it's there. I can't say no to it if I ruin it. You know.
Yeah. No. So by this early spring, you'll know how far you can take it, with the view that by the end of the year, you will be back out in Southeast Asia, getting some heat, and doing some fairly strong, long distance cycling.
Hopefully, yeah, definitely. That's my next thing I can look forward to now.
To aim for. I mean, after the success of China, which was fascinating in so many different ways. Thailand through to Malaysia and into Singapore will be, again, a very good test.
And I don't know whether or not, anybody that's had my operation I'm going to have has been able to do something like this before. Don't know if I can do it yet, but I'm going to have a damn good try at it. I'm going to be there, hand, foot and finger, and sort of, Yeah, fair enough, if I have to cycle all day, I'll do it. If we start off at 6 in the morning and I get to where I'm going at 10 at night, I'm just going to do it.
What's going to be interesting, does dopamine get used up more quickly with physical exertion?
No.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, it just...
Well, you produce dopamine if you see, basically what dopamine is adrenaline. So when I'm on my bike, I'm up to there in adrenaline because I'm loving what I'm doing. And dopamine is a form of adrenaline. And this is why they're saying cycling is one of the best exercises. And anything that produces adrenaline, like dancing, swimming, cycling is the best one. This is why they try and encourage people with Parkinson's, even the elderly, the 80s, 70s and 80s, to get up and do something. It's pointless sitting on your bottom and doing nothing. You have to produce adrenaline, and adrenaline produces dopamine.
Okay.
You see, this is why when I was first diagnosed, I was diagnosed by a fabulous guy called Dr. Hart in St Helier. Now, he was a neurologist, and I won't go through the story, but when he said to me that I have had Parkinson's, I said, don't be so stupid. I said, I can't have Parkinson's. I said, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't eat crap, I exercise every day. I'm superhuman, I'm indestructible. He just basically looked at me and went, yeah, and shit happens. And then I was introduced to my nurse, who was fantastic, Alison. And as time went on, Dr. Hart, whenever I used to go to see Dr. Hart, he used to say to me, what's your challenge this time? And what's your challenge? And every time I used to go and see him, he used to have students in his office, and I would have to go through the whole procedure with him. Anyway, cut a long story short, Alison thought that I'd outgrown him, basically because he couldn't do any more for me. So she referred me to another guy called Dr. Pavia, who was a Parkinson's specialist. Now, when I first met the guy, to put it in a nutshell, he wasn't sure what I had. The discussion came up one day. He said to me, look, you've had Parkinson's for 10 years. He says, and we're not sure if it is. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, put it this way, somebody with Parkinson's for 10 years will be affected a lot more than what you just got in one hand. He says, you should be virtually in a wheelchair by now. He says, so basically I said to him, well, isn't that good that I'm sort of keeping tabs on it? He said, well, no, because we don't know what it is. We're not sure if it is Parkinson's you've got. So then I had to go and have some more scans done, the MRI scans and DAT scans, what were dreadful. You have to drink this radioactive stuff that goes around the body. Anyway. And then a week or so later he said to me, well, I've got some news for you, John. What was that? He said, you'll be pleased to know it's Parkinson's. I said, oh, will I? He says, and so I said to him, so you're saying that, I asked him, I said to him, now tell me something truthfully. I said, the reason why I have not deteriorated as much as other people, is it because I'm lucky that I've got a very close onset Parkinson's, or is it because of my stubbornness and my fitness? He says, well, put it this way, when you get Parkinson's, full stop. It's up to the body whether or not it reacts quick enough to it or whatever. He says, and you're so super fit. He says, you've kept it at bay for all this time. Is it because your stubbornness and your fitness and your attitude to it is we think is absolutely amazing. So that's when the subject came up. Because when I was first diagnosed, one of my clients, Anna, she said, that's fine, okay, no problem, we'll get DBS for you, because she's heard of it, it was in America. And so I spoke to my neurologist about it. He says, they won't give it to you. I said, why? He said, because you're too fit. And plus you haven't had it long enough. And so then when Dr. Paviar said to me, have you ever thought about having this DBS? I said, well, yeah, but I was told I'm not ready for it. She said, well, you are now. I said, well, if you think I am, let's go for it. She said, great, let's go for it. She said, the reason why we're putting you forward for it is because we can see that you're doing everything in your power to control it. He says, and that's what we like. Mm-hmm. He says, you're not sitting on your backside doing nothing about it. You're trying to, you are beating it. I said, yeah, but it's starting to beat me in lots of ways. He says, yeah, we know. We can see it. We're trained to do it. We know. So that's when it all happened about 12 months ago. And then from then onwards, it's all been actions go.
And the tests.
Yeah, lots of tests.
You had to go through to make sure that you were fit for purpose.
Oh crikey, yeah. The psychology one was the one. Horrible. Oh, went into a room, two lovely ladies there. I said, oh, good morning, ladies. She goes, you won't be saying that when we're finished with you. I said, pardon? She says, you're going to be screaming to get out of here. I didn't know what she meant at first, but non-stop for a couple of hours. Questions, answers, tests, puzzles. And I was literally...
You crawled out of there.
Oh, I'm telling you, I was beaten up by these two women verbally. My brain was cooked, absolutely cooked. I walked out there thinking, what on earth have I just done? For what? Because when we finished with it, because it's different, because in the morning I had the test with my Parkinson's, without my drugs in and so on and so forth. My stability tests and sort of memory tests, not memory tests, but stability. And then my nurse, Alison, she said to me, we've really done well, this is the, then she gave me the results and said to me, gave me encouragement and said, you've done well. And then after the psychology test, these two, like, how did I do? She goes, we'll be in touch. I said, well, how did I get on? She says, you've done it. I said, yeah, I realised how I'd done it, but what did I do? She goes, oh, there is no rights and there is no wrongs. I said, yeah, but why have I just done it? Oh, you're being fooled. She didn't give anything away whatsoever. And so I walked out of there thinking, what the hell have I just done? For a couple of weeks I kept thinking to myself, well, why did I do it? Because they didn't let you know. But then when I saw my doctor, he says, don't worry, mate. He says, you're going to have it all again when you have it done. It was nothing right and nothing wrong. He said, basically, we just wanted to see what your
reaction,
response was like, your memory was like, and your reaction was like. So, it made me feel a bit better. So, and they were tough old questions.
Fascinating.
But now I can see why they did it.
Yeah.
But before, no one told me anything. So now the next thing, matey, I've just done my last cycle ride today. And that's the last one this year.
Yeah.
Last one this year.
Well, do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying yes now, definitely. Yes, I will not get back on my bike until the new year now. I won't. I can't. I mustn't.
No, fine.
I've got to be very strict with myself. It's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard. Are you allowed to go out for walks?
And yeah. But without a doubt.
It's just getting on the bike is a no.
I can't drive either.
Okay. So you'll be doing quite a bit of walking around the blocks and... we can't pick you up, we can take you out to Richmond Park and do a few miles in Richmond Park.
Well, anything
like that, just
yeah. I've got plenty of people, Mark, that's, will come and visit you and will take you out here. And one of my ladies, Judy, she wants to be my chauffeur for a week. I've even had them saying to me, well, can't we go on Facebook, face page, and you can put us through a workout on the FaceTime. Just scream and shout at us over the phone. I said, yeah, right. But no, I've had a lot of people that are prepared to come and sort of help me do this. I said, no, because I'm not going to need it.
Great.
Because I'm going to be fine. I'm going to walk out of that hospital. But to put it this way, they won't let me out of the hospital unless I can walk. If I'm too bad, they're not going to let me out, full stop.
So next time we talk,
we'll have it all done.
We'll have it all done.
I'll be a cyborg.
Next chapter.
Be a cyborg.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, mate.